All right, guys. Since the last video was long, we're going to make these next couple examples a new lesson. All right? All right, so we did a reflection over the y-axis. We did a reflection over the x-axis. Now we're going to do something called a reflection over the line y equals x. Okay? Now, all the other reflections, you're going to graph the points first, and then you're going to come up with the coordinates second. But when you reflect over y equals x, it's a little tricky. So here's the bottom line. When you reflect over y equals x, which is a line, the rule is we're going to switch the x and y. That's all there is to it. Now I'm going to draw y equals x so you can see what that looks like. Y equals x, okay, has a slope of 1. So 1 over 1 means you go up 1 and over 1. There's no constant term, which means you might think it means there's no y-intercept, but it means the y-intercept is 0. So this is y equals x. You go up, you start at 0, you go up 1 and over 1. We're going to flip this triangle over this line, okay? And then I'm going to use a straight edge to connect the dots, all right? This is y equals x, all right? And it's very difficult to, or it's tricky to reflect over this line. The best way to do it is to remember this rule, which we're going to switch the x and the y. So m was 0, -1. M prime, we're going to switch it. -1, 0. Basically, we flip-flop these. N was 7, -4. N prime is going to be -4, 7. So anytime you reflect over y equals x, you're going to flip it. P was 2, -4. P prime is going to be -4, 2. Okay? Now I'm going to plot these points. -1, 0 is 1 to the left. That's M prime. -4, 7 is going to be left 4. And up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right? And P prime is -4, 2. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left, and up 1, 2. All right? And then I'm going to connect the dots. All right? And when you see it, okay. And if you look, it flipped over that line. Now, remember I said you would count from each point to the line you're reflecting over? So if you look, M is half away from the line. M prime's half diagonally. All right, if you count diagonally, P is 1, 2, 3. And then diagonally, 1, 2, 3. See how it's the same distance? N is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a half. So that's a half, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a little tricky counting diagonally. That's why you want to remember this rule. Switch x and y. Okay? Now I have another whole page on reflecting over y equals x, so you can practice this. So if you reflect over y equals x, you switch x and y. All right? But then we're going to reflect also over vertical and horizontal lines. We're going to skip number 4 because it's the same question as the one on the next page. So we're going to do that one later on. All right. We accidentally had the same question twice. All right, here's number 5. All right, we're going to graph triangle DEF, all right, which they already did. And then we're going to graph and state the coordinates of the image after the following transformation, a reflection over x equals 3. All right, so what we really need to do is we need to graph x equals 3. Okay? And if you remember from algebra, it's a little backwards from what you would imagine. When it's x equals, this is really going to be a vertical line. And this is the way I graph it. Ready? X equals 3. Go to your x-axis. Go over to 3 on the x-axis. And basically, that's going to be a vertical line. This line is x equals 3. Okay, if you think about this line, think about this line, no matter where you are, it's over to the right 3, right? If I look at this point's 3, 9. Notice how x is 3. If I look at this point, 3, 0, x is 3. Every point on this line, x is equal to 3. And now basically all we're going to do is we're going to count, just like we did before, from each point to the line and go the same distance to the vertical line and go the same distance on the opposite side. So if I look, okay, let me zoom it in a little bit. If you look at E is 1, 2, 3, 4 from this line. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? That's E prime. E prime was 4 to the left. Now it's going to be 4 to the right. You can go in any order you want. You don't have to start in alphabetical order. So if you want to do F next, F is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So F was 7 to the left. Now it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to the right. And the same thing with D. D count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and remember that this triangle should look like it's flipped around. All right, it should be congruent. Now keep in mind, when I drew it, it wasn't perfect. Like this should have been more like this, and you'll see it's the same triangle. All the corresponding sides are equal, right? DE was 4, DE was 1, 2, 3, E prime, D prime is 1, 2, 3. DF was 1, 2, 3, 4. D prime, F prime, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? All right, I'm going to do one more example. All right, 2 more examples quick. And then you could try the next few questions, all right? So this is the next page. It says reflections over vertical and horizontal lines. All right? So I'm going to do number 1 with you. I'm going to have you try number 2. And then I'll do number 3 with you, and then you could try the 2 on the next page, okay? And that'll be it for today. All right, so check it out. Exercise 1 on this page. This is reflections over vertical and horizontal lines, right? Again, I graphed the triangle to save some time. We're going to do reflection over y equals -2. Basically, this is going to be a horizontal line. Y equals -2 is a horizontal line. Check this out. This is how you graph y equals -2. Go to -2 on the y-axis. All right? And then basically, you are going to have a horizontal line through that point. So this line is y equals -2. Think about it. Every point on this line is 2 below, is down 2. Right? It's from the x-axis is down 2. So that's y equals -2. Same thing as before. We're going to count. So from F, I'm going to count down 1, 2, 3. And then it's got to be 1, 2, 3 in the opposite direction. So F started out above the line we're reflecting it over. The image is going to be below. It's got to be the same distance, but on the opposite side. So we went from 3 above to 3 below. D is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 above. D prime's got to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 below. E is the same thing because these are match up horizontally. Ready? E is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's got to be below 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right? You really need to graph these in order to do a reflection. The only reflection you don't really need to graph is over y equals x, which I'm going to do one more example to get the coordinates. But you really got to graph it first usually, then get the coordinates. The only exception is when you reflect over y equals x, like number 3 on this page. All right, so my coordinates, D prime, is going to be -4, -9. E prime is -1, -9, right? When you do the coordinates, it's always from the origin, remember? 0, 0 is the origin. And then F prime was -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -5. All right? You're going to try 2, 4, and 5. All right, I'm going to help you with number 3. All right, and then tomorrow we're going to do a bunch of questions like number 3. All right, so number 3, we want to reflect over y equals x. As soon as you see that, remember the rule. Switch x and y. So if m was -9, 6, we're going to switch it. M prime is going to be 6, -9. A was -4, 6. A prime, we're going to switch 6, -4. We're going to swap it around. T was -2, 2. T prime, 2, -2. And lastly, H is going to be 2, -9. All right? Now you just want to show you how it's going to be flipped over. So again, y equals x, you start at 0, and your slope's 1 over 1. So you're going up 1 and over 1. All right, if you plot a few points, that's enough because now you got a whole bunch of points to help you draw a straight line. Okay? Here's my line y equals x. All right, now I'm going to plot my points. M was 6, -9. So from the origin, from 0, that's over 6 and down 9. A was A prime 6, -4. Okay? So that's right 6, down 4. T prime was 2, -2. So that's going to be right 2, down 2. And lastly, H was 2, -9. So that's going to be right 2 and down 9. All right. All right, now I'm going to connect my dots. Okay. And if you look at it, it flipped over. And remember what I said. Any reflection, you're basically counting from the object to the line you're reflecting over and going the same amount. But when you do y equals x, you go diagonally. So if you look at t, diagonally it's 1, 2. Diagonally 1, 2. See it? Same distance. All right? H is probably another one that you could easily see. H, if you go, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. So a half, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5. See, it's the same distance. Same thing with A and A prime, M and M prime. Right? It flipped over this line. All right, so try number 2. Try number 4. And try number 5. All right? We'll talk to you soon.